You know that feeling, right? You walk into a room, you see piles of stuff everywhere, and you just feel heavy. Well, it turns out that feeling isn't just in your head. Today, we're going to dive into the actual science behind why a tidy home can have such a huge impact on your mental well-being.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You get home after a super long day, and just the sight of all that clutter adds this whole other layer of stress. If you've ever felt that little spike of anxiety from a messy kitchen or a desk that's just overflowing, well, you've already felt that powerful link between your space and your mind.
You know, the author Tisha Morris really hits the nail on the head with this. She calls clutter stagnant energy, which is such a great way to put it. It's like a physical mirror of what's going on inside us, but it also actively shapes our internal world. So how does this actually work? Scientifically. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's take a look at what is actually happening inside your brain when your space is a mess. Because this isn't just about things looking nice, your brain is physically, chemically reacting to the environment around you.
I absolutely love this analogy. It is just so perfect. Every single object in your line of sight, especially if it's out of place, is like an open browser tab. You know, that pile of mail, the shoes kicked off by the door, that project you started on the table. They are all pulling on your brain's resources, constantly sending these little signals about unfinished business. It's draining your mental energy even when you're not consciously thinking about it.
So here's the really crucial part, the biological response. There was this landmark study from UCLA that found that mothers living in homes they described as cluttered had consistently higher levels of cortisol, the main stress hormone. And we're not just talking about feeling stressed in the moment. Chronic exposure can lead to all sorts of long-term issues: anxiety, digestive problems, a weaker immune system. It can literally change your brain's structure, making you even more vulnerable to stress down the road.
And the emotional side of this is just so clear, right? It's night and day. On one side, you have clutter, which is linked to feelings of confusion, tension, and just being irritable. And on the other, an organized space is all about calm, a sense of well-being, and feeling like you're in control. Our homes are supposed to be our refuge, but a messy one can be the exact opposite.
And this is why you can't focus. Research from Princeton University actually shows that when your environment is cluttered, all of those visual distractions are competing for your attention. It totally overwhelms your brain's ability to process information, which makes it incredibly difficult to focus on any one thing. Your brain literally can't filter out all that noise. And this has a real measurable effect on how well you perform. Get this. One study had people solve puzzles in both a tidy room and a cluttered one. The result? The folks in the tidy space were a full 20% faster. That is a massive boost in efficiency just from clearing off your desk.
Okay, so we've seen the problem, but what about the solution? This brings us to a really key shift in how we think about this. It's time to reframe cleaning, not as some dreaded chore, but as a genuinely powerful act of self-care. See, when you tidy up, you are doing so much more than just putting things away. You're getting some serious psychological wins. We're talking about regaining a sense of control, boosting your mood, sharpening your focus, and even sleeping better. So let's break down how that actually works.
This one is so important. Think about it. When other parts of your life feel chaotic or totally out of your control, cleaning gives you an immediate, tangible result you can see and feel the progress you're making. This simple act gives you a sense of mastery over your little corner of the world, and that can be incredibly grounding and empowering when things feel stressful.
And you don't need to deep clean the entire house to feel these benefits. There was this fascinating study in the journal Mindfulness that found people who washed dishes mindfully, like they actually focused on the smell of the soap, the warmth of the water. They reported a 27% drop in nervousness. 27%? Even a 5-minute task can be a really powerful reset for your brain.
Okay, but I get it. The idea of starting to clean can feel completely overwhelming, right? That's exactly where this next part comes in. The whole key is to start small, to get those big wins for your mental health.
So forget about cleaning the entire house. Just pick one spot, like one corner of the kitchen counter, or a single junk drawer. Then set a timer for just 10 or 15 minutes. For that short time, your only job is to get rid of stuff. Trash, things to donate, stuff that doesn't belong there. Don't even try to organize yet, just clear it out. And then, for whatever's left, make sure every single item has a designated home. That makes cleaning up next time 1,000 times easier.
All right, before we finish up, it is really important to add a little bit of nuance here. Because while cleaning is an amazing tool, we also need to be mindful of the extremes. So, the key here is balance. On one hand, if cleaning starts to feel like a compulsion, if you have this intense anxiety about dirt, if you're canceling plans just so you can clean, or if it's interfering with your life, that could be a sign of something like OCD. But then on the other hand, if you have a chronic inability to do even basic cleaning because you have no energy and feel completely overwhelmed, that can be a symptom of depression. In either of those cases, it's about more than just clutter, and it might be a good time to talk to a professional.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Thinking back to our browser analogy, what is one single tab you can close in your home today? Maybe it's just dealing with that pile of mail on the counter or finally washing those few dishes in the sink. Just remember, this isn't about some kind of perfect minimalist home. It's just about giving your mind a little more room to breathe.